Hey y'all, it's Brody, and today I'm here to talk to you about some spooky books. Now, with everything that's going on right now with the coronavirus and quarantining and self-isolation, and they found chlamydia in the Arctic Ocean, and like earthquakes and everything that's happening. It's all madness. The world is madness right now. And I'm not here for it. Because I believe in being open and honest about your coping mechanisms, I'm going to talk to you today about books that I read to help soothe my anxieties. I use horror. I use thrillers, I use mysteries and murderousy thingies, suspense, because, like, I can't distract myself from the way my body's feeling. I just need to feel my feelings. Take a shot every time I say the word feelings in this video. I just need to like feel my things. If I'm scared or anxious, I need to feel that and get it out, and then I'll be fine. Um, so I do that by reading things that make me feel scared or anxious, and then I can be like, oh, I'm not scared of the world ending. I am scared of killer sharks. Since I started with killer sharks, we're gonna go with spooky ocean books. I have 4 right here. The Meg by Steve Alton, which is about a giant prehistoric megalodon. I have House of Salt and Stars by Aaron A. Craig, which is about like a spooky family being haunted by ghosts as they're being murdered one by one. I have Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant, which is killer mermaids. And then I have Jaws by Peter Benchley, which is about a killer great white shark. I will say with the 2 shark books, they are written by white guys, so, you know. Sexism, like, mild, well, very blatant racism in this one. Yeah, just be mindful of that when you're going in. I know some people don't mind it. It knocked down the rating for me for sure. Let's talk about stab books. We have The Cheerleaders by Kara Thomas. This is about a girl who's trying to solve the mystery of why her older sister and everyone on her cheer squad died and committed suicide like X amount of years ago. We have There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. This is kind of like a YA scream slasher thing going on. I really liked it, but I did hear from trans reviewers that there was a problem with trans character representation. So make sure you go seek out, of course, always go seek out Own Voices reviews first before you know. I have My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyen Khan Braithwaite. If we can make it through a video without me talking about this book, that will be the day that I delete my channel. Not really, but I fucking loved this book. I read this in January or February. I loved it. I loved it so much. I want to reread it. This is about 2 sisters, one of whom is murdering all of her boyfriends, and the other of whom always has to clean up after her. Post-apocalyptic-y, dystopian-y type deals, I guess. First, we have Wilder Girls by Rory Power. My hair is almost getting to the cover. That's the goal, right? It's just to have, like, what? I just want to be the Wilder Girls cover. I have a full review video of this up on my channel if you'd like to go check it out. I'll link it downstairs. But, it's about a group of girls who are quarantined on an island after their isolated school has been overcome by this disease called the tox, and it gives them all a bunch of weird mutations. In the same vein, we have The Gray Shear by Kim Liggett, which I will never have hair like that. It has been compared to, like, Handmaid's Tale, Lord of the Flies. It's about a bunch of girls who are sent out into isolation, into this community in the woods on, like, the year they all turn 16, because they believe that whenever you turn 16 and you're a girl, you have magic that can sway the husbands and make them be unfaithful. So, I was going to do a full review video of this one. If you would like to see me do a full review video, let me know. It was really good. Recommend it. If you liked Wilder Girls, but you wanted something a little bit more Handmaid's Tale than Lord of the Flies, recommend this one. I don't have a physical copy of because I read it on my Kindle app. Wheezy got it for me off my Amazon wishlist. Thank you, Wheezy. It's The Marathis by Sherry Demeline. This is an indigenous dystopian YA book that just won my whole heart. So essentially what's happening in The Marrow Thieves is global warming happened. Okay, global warming happened. The earth is shit, and all the white people have lost the ability to dream. Everyone doesn't have dreams, except for the indigenous people of America. Indigenous people are now on the run, having to live in forests and live off the land and live in, like, these packs as they're being hunted by white people to take them to schools. We know about that. Where they will be killed and harvested for their bone marrow. Because the key to dreams lives inside their marrow, apparently. I really love this one, and if you are a fan of the Hunger Games, then you should definitely pick this one up. This should have been a series. This should have been a series. I'm very upset that it's a standalone. 2 more thrillers. I have Lock Every Door by Riley Sager, which is about an apartment sitter who is, experiencing some disappearances with her other apartment sitters. There's some strange noises going on. There's a mystery that she's unraveling, and she has to figure it out before it's too late. Then you just saw me hold the other one up. That is Bird Box by Josh Malerman. I have a full video on this one of comparing the book to the movie, but essentially it's about a world where you can't open your eyes because there are monsters outside that will make you kill yourself if you see them. Follows a mother and her 2 kids as they try and go to safety. I really enjoyed this. I really fucking hated the movie. I have 3 graphic novel / comic books to show you. I have the Demon Bear Saga, New Mutants, X-Force, Demon Bear Saga. This is the comic collection anthology sort of bind-up thingy following the Danny Moonstar. The Danny Moonstar. She tries to figure out what the fuck is going on with this demon bear that's, chasing down her family and killing everyone. And it's been stalking her entire life. The movie got pushed back again. And I just got a free trial of Disney Plus, so please, just post it on Disney Plus, because I've been waiting for this movie to come out for actual years. Then we have The Witches, Volume 1. This follows a girl and her family who just moved to this new town, and a bunch of spooky stuff starts going on. It's really gory. It's really graphic. Okay. Yeah, that's gross. I can't show you that picture. Basically, people are being murdered and hunted down and sucked into the woods by these witches. I'm trying to find art that doesn't have blood or dead animals. Can't. It's all blood and dead animals and spoilers. But I really enjoyed this. Would recommend you check it out, at least. We have one I haven't talked about that much on my channel. That is Grimoire Noir by Vera Green Tea and Yana Bogach. This is about a boy who lives in this town where there are witches, and they all have magical powers. It rains all the time in his town because his mother cries because his little sister, has gone missing. He's trying to figure out who took her, why they took her, and how he can get her back. The art in this, I posted pictures of this on my Twitter because I think this is one of the prettiest fucking graphic novels that I have ever read. Let me find the picture page. That right there is, the picture. I absolutely loved this and would highly recommend. In the vein of, young adult horror with spooky shit, I have The Devouring Grey by Christine Lynn Herman. This follows a girl named Violet who's just moved to her mother's hometown. They all have magical powers, and they're having to fight this thing called the Grey, which comes out and, kills people once a year. The sequel is also coming out in April, I believe, so you have just enough time, and the paperback just came out too. So, if you don't want to get it from your library or as an ebook, you can get the paperback, read the paperback, and then read the sequel. Next, I have The Sacrifice Box by Martin Stewart. This is one of the most underrated books I have ever read on my channel, and I think you all should read it. This is kind of in the vein of, It and Pet Sematary. I describe it as, a young adult It meets Pet Sematary. Fellas, a group of friends who, all made this deal whenever they were children that they would always be friends, but of course, now that they're bitchy teenagers, they don't talk anymore. They had to offer things they cared about into this box, like a teddy bear, or, burnt dragonflies, and now those things are coming back alive. All the animals are coming back to life. Animals can't die right now. So, this was a trip and a half. I really want to reread it. I would highly recommend you reread it. Also, I love this cover, but there's also been, a cover change. I definitely prefer this one, but I feel like the other one will be people's aesthetic a little bit more. Then I have 5 Midnight by Andavia Cardinal. I read this one last year as well, and I fucking loved it. This takes place in Puerto Rico. There's this girl who's on the island on vacation with her family, and this boy who lives on the island, and they're all these people are being murdered because of El Cuco and this legend of the island on their birthdays. They're all being murdered on their birthdays. I haven't been talking about trigger warnings, but I feel like I really need to give a trigger warning for this one for drug use. It was very explicit on the page. So be mindful of that, and as always, make sure you're checking trigger warnings before you pick up books. Next, I have Carrie by Stephen King. This is my favorite Stephen King I've ever read. It's, I think, top-notch. Many people will disagree, but I love it. We all know what Carrie is about, but in case you don't, Carrie is about a girl who's abused by her mother and everyone at school, and she has telekinetic powers, and she wants to take revenge. The end. I also have Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dow. This is like an evil queen origin story. This is set in a fantasy world where Shifeng wants to be the empress, and she's not gonna, let anything stop her. This is her destiny, this is her future. She's gonna kick ass, she's gonna take names, she's gonna drink rabbit blood, she's gonna do everything that she can to get to the top. Very much enjoyed this. Love a dark protagonist who doesn't give a fuck about anyone else but herself. Now, if you're someone who's like not super keen on the spooks, then I got you with some of these. I feel like Neil Gaiman is a good go-to. We have The Graveyard Book and Coraline, both. I definitely preferred Coraline to The Graveyard Book, but I still love The Graveyard Book. Graveyard Book is about a boy who lives in a graveyard because his family was murdered, and he's protected by the ghosts from the man who murdered his family. Coraline is about a girl named Coraline. Clearly. Moves into this new house, and it's really boring, but then she finds a door that leads her to this other dimension type thing where she has an other mother and an other father, and things are a lot more fun. But there's some sinister stuff going on underneath. Another go-to of mine, in times of trouble, R.L. Stine comes to me speaking words of wisdom. Reader, beware, you're in for a scare. Goosebumps. My favorite Goosebumps books are The Night of the Living Dummy. I have this, I think it's from the 90s or early 2000s, but I got this. I love this. I love Goosebumps. Goosebumps, if you're not aware, for some reason, it's like, kind of like the Twilight Zone of children's books, where it's like each book can be individually read, except for a couple that are like sagas, but they're all like spooky children's books, and it's just a fun time. My favorites are The Night of the Living Dummy, because Slappy scared the ever-living shit out of me when I was a child. Slappy is a dummy who comes alive when you read, the magic chant that's in his pocket, and because all the characters are stupid 12-year-olds, they're going to read the magic chant and make the dummy come to life, and the dummy wants to enslave you and, strangle your pets. Haunting Hour, chills in the dead of night. It's 10 new standalone stories by R.L. Stine. It's a really short anthology. This is my OG copy that I got from, Kmart in 2002. I have read this cover to cover. Each story is illustrated by a different person, so it does have, illustrations for the not chapters. So it does have illustrations for all of the stories. There's another one right there, Some of these really creeped me out when I was a kid. And if you want horror light, I recommend this stuff. I have The Scary Stories Treasury. 3 books to chill your bones. These are retold and collected by Alvin Schwartz. This is like the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark book, except it's all 3 of the books bound up. This is like the pride and joy of my collection. I read them from your middle school library. I love this so much. I reread these last October, and I want to give them another go. It's just a bunch of scary story collections for children. I wouldn't even really call them scary. Some of them creep me out. Some of them still creep me out. But, yeah, they're just all different, unattached stories that have, they're like urban legends, some of them. Just a good time, y'all. It's just a good time. The last one I want to talk about, as far as ones I've just read, is I Am Not Your Final Girl by Claire C. Holland. This is a poetry collection that's very, very intense. It's about, recovering from trauma and experiencing trauma, but it's told through the lens of, final girls from horror movies. So, there's a chapter that's, Thomasin from The Witch, and then a poem, how Thomasin's story relates to this story of survival and recovery. Very interesting, and I highly recommend you go check it out. Also, it's by an indie poet. We love that. Now I'm going to breeze through a bunch of books that I want to read, things to help my anxiety. First, I have Final Girls by Riley Sager. If I don't read this year, I'm unhauling it. Final Girls follows a woman named Quincy, who was the sole survivor of like a murder of her and her friends, who linked up with other women who were also sole survivors of mass murders. It's like basically like if Alice from Friday the 13th, Laurie from Halloween, and Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street all linked up to talk about their trauma and then started getting murdered one by one. That's what this is. I'm super excited to read it. I've picked it up and put it down a couple times, but I've been really wanting to pick this up. I've been eyeing it a lot more on my shelf lately. Cujo by Stephen King. Love the movie. Still haven't read the book. That's the case with like 90% of the King books I want to read. This book is about a dog who gets rabies. Yeah, Cujo is the dog. Cujo gets rabies. Cujo wants to kill people because of the rabies. The movie made me cry. The movie made me cry a lot. I'm expecting the book is going to make me cry too because it comes from the dog's point of view. Sawkill Girls by Claire LeGrand. And to be completely honest, I'm not entirely sure what this is about. I've been trying to read this for almost 2 years now, I think. It's about 3 girls who live on the island of Sawkill Rock. There's a legend of an insidious monster at parties and around campfires. Girls are disappearing, have been for decades, are getting stolen away by a ravenous evil that no one has dared to fight until now. I also know this book is queer, so basically it's queer girls fighting their hometown monster. Sorry if there was a slight angle change. Next we have Meddling Kids by Edgar Cantero. This is essentially like a Scooby-Doo retelling. Follows a group of people who I believe are like college age now-ish. They're like 20-somethings. They solved a mystery whenever they were like teenagers. Also, there's a dog who helped them solve the mystery. And now that they're 20-somethings, you know, they're former teen detectives, they're lost souls. One of them's in a mental hospital, the other one is like in the military. You know, they're just like straight up not having a good time right now. And they decide to link back up and figure out what the fuck is going on because they know that they got the wrong guy. And now they're trying to figure out, you know, the truth. Also, there's like spooky stuff going on because they don't think it's just a man in a mask. They think it's like something deeper. So like the Scooby-Doo movies where it's not just the man in the mask, it's actually zombie pirates. Foul as Ferret by Hannah Kaplan. This is Macbeth and Heather's and Jennifer's body. It's beautiful. This is about a girl named Jade who is raped at a party, and she and her 4 friends decide they're going to get revenge on all of the boys who were there who either raped, who helped, or who didn't do anything. Someone just pulled up outside. This is awkward. I'm very excited to read this. This will probably be the next book that I pick up. And then I have an ARC that I just got in the mail. This is A Lot Sway by Darcy Little Badger. This essentially takes place in an America that's like slightly different from our own. It's shaped by the legends of both the indigenous people and those who are not indigenous. And some of them are harmless, but there are also some that are a lot darker. So, Alatsue, who is a Lapana Apache, who is also asexual, by the way. This is a queer book. Own voices for both of those identities. Alatsue can see dead animals and communicate with dead animals. And whenever her cousin dies, she decides that she's going to, like, figure out the truth of what's going on in the town, figure out what's going on, unmask everything, call everyone out. I'm so excited for this. Darcy, if you don't know, hosted some sprints for us on the Indigathon Twitter last November. She has been super supportive. She is super sweet. And I'm so excited for this book. Oh my god, you guys don't even know. Whenever I got it in the mail, I, like, freaked out a little bit. And I knew I was getting it at some point because, I had been reached out to by the publisher. Just want to disclaim that for whatever purposes. I was sent this by the publisher. The publishers reached out. Darcy also reached out. So I knew it was coming. I still cried when I got it in the mail. So fucking excited. It comes out in August of 2020, and it's by Living Querido. That's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to talk in the comments. So we're not just going to have a comment question. We're going to have a comment conversation. I want to know how you're doing. I want to know what you do to cope with your anxieties, what you do to self-care, all of that. So let's just get, like, real heartfelt down in the comments. I know that this is a video about spooky books, but it's also a video about coping and feeling okay and feeling your feelings, and you guys just had to take so many shots because I said the word feeling so much in here. As always, if you've read any of these books, let me know downstairs. If you don't have time or you don't have the the spoons to have that discussion, leave me like a knife emoji since we're doing like spooky scary stuff. Let me know what you're planning to read. Let me know what you have on the agenda in the coming weeks. Let me know if you've read any of these books and if you enjoyed them. But as always, remember to keep your comments spoiler free so I don't get yelled at. I love y'all. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay sane. I hope you have a wonderful whatever it is, wherever you are. I will see you next time with another video. Bye!